The world-famous End Cafe was first knocked off the Huntington Beach Pier in 1983. It happened again in 1988, and the End was lost forever. Or was it? Today, we'll go in search of a few missing pieces.
I'm Chris Epting. I'm a writer and a storyteller, the author of several books and many articles about Huntington Beach. And what I like best is uncovering history that you may not be familiar with. This is Hidden Huntington Beach. Starting back in the 1970s, the End Cafe was one of the most popular places in Huntington Beach. John Gustafson, who for almost 50 years has run Gustafson Brothers Automotive, remembers it well. He and I sat down to talk about his family's legacy and, of course, how his dad created the End Cafe.
So, End Cafe cups. These are like hidden history artifacts. Rescued from the sea, perhaps?
They were rescued from the End Cafe before it fell in.
Wow.
And they've been stored at Breakfast in the Park until it closed.
Which was your mom's place.
Yes, and then we rescued what was left out of that at the end.
The legacy of your family, your family name in town is very important. I mean, you've had your company here. It'll be 50 years next February, right?
February 1st, 50 years.
You opened it, it's been yours the whole time. And
yeah.
That's a story in and of itself we should come back and talk
Fresh
about.
out of high school.
Huntington Beach High School.
The old man said, get out and do something.
Well, your old man, John, is the one who moves your family here in the mid-60s. And in the mid-70s, talk about him because he decides to sort of have a career change. You said he used to walk the pier every day before heading out to Glendale?
Yeah, that was his ritual, was get his time in first. Get up early, walk the pier, head to work with a clear head. When he got off work, did family things in the evening, get some rest, get up. You know where Glendale is? Mm-hmm. Hour and a half to the northwest. So every day on the freeway, he's beating the freeways to get up to Glendale. And the reason we got started in the automobile business is keeping his cars running so he could get to work.
Really?
That's how it started.
Well, what happens? How does he first start the End Cafe?
That was his plan. We had already opened the auto garage in '71, so by mid-'70s, he had stopped doing the commute to Glendale.
Right.
And opened the End Cafe because it was the Fisherman's Grotto before that. And he walked by it day after day, and it wasn't open when he wanted it open. So he bought it so he could open it.
For himself.
For himself.
And the End Cafe automatically becomes like one of the most iconic places in the city. But then in 1983, it's been open now 6 or so years, massive storm hits. What do you remember about that day, the first time the End Cafe came down?
We were on the pier, and it was foggy, and the waves crashed in. You could feel the pier rumble, and when the fog cleared, there was no cafe.
What was his reaction? He'd put a lot of time, a lot of sweat, a lot of hours, a lot of passion. What was he like after that?
You know, he was always the optimist, and he said, we'll just rebuild.
Which he did. Now, before you rebuild in '88, in between there, he opens another place at the front of the pier, right?
Right, he had to work. There was Maxwell's, where currently there is Duke's.
Right.
So on the end was a concession area, and he called it Maxie's. And I got drafted occasionally to go out and serve when he didn't have people.
While you're still running your own automotive business.
After hours.
Your dad loved working on the pier, obviously. He really had an affinity for that pier at both ends, obviously. But then in 1988, another storm comes through after he's reopened the End Cafe.
Yes.
What do you remember about that experience?
That one was tough. There was still a large amount owed on the building of that building. Mm-hmm. And when the storm hit, it was like, here we go again. We could feel the pier shudder. When the fog lifted, it was gone. Took the building down, and that time it took the whole building down. Didn't just break it, it took it all down. Right. Wiped away the end of the pier, and that was the end. It was not but a few years after that that he developed, or they discovered lung cancer, and he passed.
Young man.
59.
I've seen lots of photos of your dad riding a bicycle. That seemed like his main mode of transportation while he was working on the pier. Was that the case?
Remember, he would go to work early in the morning to get everything set, open the restaurant early like he wanted it, and then about 10 o'clock in the morning he would take his bicycle and ride down to Lifeguard Station 7, roll out a beach mat, take a nap for an hour or so, get recharged and come back and go again. Make a supply run.
What we're looking at behind us now, up here, these signs, these amazing hidden history artifacts that sort of connect both your mom and your dad. What is it like for you to sit here and see those?
You know, we took those signs down after the pier had collapsed and after the breakfast in the park had closed, and we put those signs up as a tribute to the family history.
Do people notice it when they come in? Do people who went to the End Cafe analysis, do you get a lot of that when they see it?
They do. And those people they bring their kids here for the training. They're young people in for the auto training that we do, and they see those signs and they want to order.
People fondly remember the End Cafe just as fondly as they remember Alice's in the Park, your mom's restaurant. How did it come to be that both your parents were operating restaurants, one on the park, one on the pier? I mean, that's an amazing balance right there. Both places were so popular and successful. What was that like to have both of your parents doing that?
Well, it was good for them. They enjoyed it very much. When you have one restaurant, making a second one is a little bit easier because you have suppliers and all the things it takes to run a business. And she didn't want to work the hours that the End Cafe ran. She wanted to have her own place on Huntington Lake and named after her, Alice's Breakfast in the Park. It was a great place. My sister worked there for many years as the cinnamon roll queen.
Mary Beth, I think, her legacy in town. Again, your family name, it's not just the last name. People hear the name Mary Beth and they automatically think cinnamon rolls.
Yep.
And it's really, I think that legacy goes on as well. John, what is it like today? Again, your business has thrived here for a long time. You add a lot to the community. The training center we're sitting in, this allows, you were telling me, young people, teenagers to come and basically learn the business from the ground up. You invest a lot in the community, the future of the community, right? That's important to you.
We do.
Right, so John, I know you've got some other hidden history here. One piece in particular I really want to see. What do you say we take our End Cafe cups and take a stroll?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so John, there's another amazing piece of hidden history right up here. Tell us what we're looking at, that railing, because it's pretty special.
That railing came from the pier.
The Huntington Beach Pier.
Huntington Beach Pier, somewhere in the mid-70s. The pier railing was being changed out from this style to something more modern and maybe less rusty.
So how did you come to get these pieces? Were you out there that day? I mean, how does it happen that you have pier railing here?
So, you know, my dad walked the pier every day. It's part of his ritual. He made friends with the construction workers taking down the old rail, putting up the new rail, and of course he asked, what are you going to do with the old rail?
Man after my own heart.
And they said, we're going to scrap it. So he said, do you mind if I take some? They said, take all you want.
Did he just want it to have it? Like, what was his thinking, do you think?
I can't tell you what he was thinking, but he called me to bring a crew to take it with us. And we had it at our original shop on Garfield, Maine.
And you had a lot of it?
We had more than 200 feet, and we lined the entrance to the auto shop with pier railing.
We're looking at about probably 20 some odd feet here now. Where's the rest of the railing?
You know, over time, it got in the way. It's gone for scrap.
But you know what? That's okay. At least you've got this here. Now, was that the original color? It's white today. The pier railing was never white, was it?
No, when we got it, it was green.
Okay.
And we found layer upon layer of paint, and it had been orange and other colors. Dating back how far, we don't really know.
Well, in the mid-'70s, it was probably up there for a long time at that point. So we can do some research, do some homework on it. But do you know of any other pier railing that exists besides this?
I don't believe so.
This might be it.
This could be it.
Now, do people come in here and see this? There's no sign that says what it is. Do you tell people that that's original Huntington Beach Pier railing up there?
You know, rarely does it come up, but I think you got a good point. Now everybody's going to know.
Well, revealed your secret. John, there are some other little historic bits around here I would love to see. Can you show me?
Let's go.
Let's go. I mean, John, you're a Huntington Beach historical figure yourself. When you opened your shop originally, it was in the old Huntington Beach broom factory building. Do you remember that?
Yes, the landlord was Alvin Hine.
And here we are outside your current location, the one everyone knows. You had this oil well place. Tell me, this is a great piece of hidden history here. Talk about this. What made you do this and what's the story behind it?
So when we acquired the lot next door due to expansion, it came with 3 oil wells. We dug down, the oil companies did, and they pulled up 5,000 feet of pipe per well. This was the last remaining piece, and we thought it was fitting to make it an artifact, so we placed it on the plans and we put it here in the front corner as a history piece. This well's from the 1930s, and we've maintained it ever since as a historical artifact.
It's amazing. And you know, beyond that, we can see the flag that you have up, which is what, 30 feet?
30 feet when it's extended.
Right. But there's a story behind that as well that I think plays into American history. Talk about the flag.
It was after the events of 9/11, we were showing our patriotism by flying the flag. The neighbor next door was a cell site fabricator. He put a new cell tower in a stadium here in Southern California, and he had a pole that came out in place of his cell site that went inside this stadium. So he ended up with this pole, and he told me that if I would install it as a flagpole, he would donate the pole. So we pulled a permit, we went down, cored a hole 15 feet, put number 9 rebar in a circle, and bolts 6 feet long to hold that flag down.
And that flag can be seen when it's windy. You can see it from all over here.
It's a local monument.
Now, another great iconic place that's no longer here, but that have been part of great discussions on our Hidden Huntington Beach History Facebook page was a place called the Green Shack. You used to have lunch there once in a while, right? And it was right by where we are today. Tell me about the Green Shack.
So the Green Shack was right here on Old Crystal Street, and we had a lot here. We expanded to this lot. The next lot was the Green Shack lot. That was a great place.
What'd you like about it?
Well, the good food, and it was close, and cold beer after 5. They had a pool table, and we can go in and shoot pool after work, but the room was so small, they had to shorten the sticks, so you had to shoot pool with a little stick. But it was still fun.
John, I could talk to you all day. Maybe we'll come back next February for your 50th anniversary of Gustafson Brothers, which is just, again, one of the most iconic businesses in town, 50 years strong. But for your history, for saving part of the End Cafe, showing us that. Alice in the Park, thank you so much, man. This has been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Wow, remnants from the End Cafe, Alice's Restaurant in the Park, Huntington Beach Pier railing, a historic oil pump. I had no idea I was going to find so much hidden history here at Gustafson Brothers in Huntington Beach. I love this family. They're an iconic part of the community. They've done a lot. We want to thank them, and I want to thank you for watching.